because I saw so much controversy. Even like in group chats with my friends, it was just like some kids were like, "This is terrible," and then I'm over here like, I actually kind of like it. Like,
I don't know. I would. It's not the worst. It could be so much worse, but I'm just like something like I love the simple ones with the logo with just like these three on the bottom. That's my favorite.
okay,
But yeah, so like final opinions on the Super Bowl. My final opinion is that Mahomes, he didn't get help from the run game. He didn't get help from the O-line. He didn't get help from his receivers. He didn't even get help from Reed. Did he make it worse at the end of the second half? Sure. But for the most part, I don't blame Mahomes. The Eagles, such a well-rounded roster, so much more dominant. Howie Roseman, best GM in the league. Credit to Jalen Hurts. Saquon sucked up all those linebackers. But credit to Jalen Hurts for what he did. But yeah, I think that about does it for the NFL. If you want to hop into some basketball.
yeah, let's do it.
Awesome.
You know, I'm always down.
So right now we just passed the NBA trade the NBA trade deadline.
Yo, what was your reaction when you saw the Mark Williams trade was rescinded?
I was like, wow, of course. Of course. What else would happen to the Lakers at this point?
Yeah. I mean, what's confusing about that is he's been playing like 30 minutes a night for the Hornets the past like 2 months. So it's like, are they normally playing him when he's not healthy? Or did the Lakers see something where they were just like, oh, like we didn't know this?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because it's really awkward. Like you see all the quotes they released, like, "Oh, we love to welcome back Mark Williams." Like, I gotta find this.
The Hornets said this?
Yeah. Let's see.
What I do think was interesting is that it's not even his back that they found something wrong with. It's another injury. So,
like, listen to how they worded this. So the Hornets posted this on their social media. They said, "We are excited to welcome Mark back to our Hornets organization. After the other team aggressively pursued Mark, we made the difficult decision to move him. We have always had great respect for his talent, work ethic, and character. And now we are thrilled to see him rejoin our roster as a dynamic presence at the center position. His return strengthens our team, and we look forward to the impact he will make."
It's kind of awkward.
Like, what?
That's incredibly awkward.
Yeah.
I mean, you traded the dude.
Yeah. And
You
then
traded the dude.
he's going to walk back in there. He's probably thought he was traded for like 5 or 6 days, and then he's walking
Thought he was
back
a Laker.
in there.
Thought he was going to play with LeBron and Luka. Some showtime. Make a run at the finals. Nope. He's back in Charlotte.
Even like connect for the Lakers. I feel like it's kind of a blessing in disguise. Like, why are you moving on from a dude first year in the league? He dominated college. He's actually been giving you contributing minutes on an NBA team as a rookie.
Under JJ Redick.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, let's move him.
And for Mark Williams, a guy who hasn't played 100 games. He's never played, I don't know what the exact, I think he's played 80 games in his career. And it's a guy with back issues. And the reason you don't keep him, the reason he hasn't passed the physical isn't even because of his back. It's another issue he's got going on. I didn't like the trade to begin with. I'm going to be honest. I know he's an athletic 23-year-old center, and they needed a center. But the thing is, they needed a center. Did you really rely on this guy to stay healthy enough if he even got through the physical?
Yeah.
I didn't. Nick Claxton, Robert Williams, DeAndre Ayton, Nikola Vucevic. I could go on and on of all these centers that you could rely on more than Mark Williams. And you really needed a center.
Yeah.
So for me, I hate it for them because I thought they needed somebody like Nick Claxton or somebody like Robert Williams. Not that Robert Williams could stay healthy, but I mean, this guy Mark Williams has not played 100 games in his career. He can't stay healthy.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's a beast down low. He grabs boards, but I mean, he's always kind of had that injury issue. He's never played on like a really good team, so you don't know like how good he really is.
True. He's a beast, and he's 23 years old, so the upside was undeniable.
Yeah.
But this is a squad that I think could contend for a championship this year, and the only thing you needed was a center, especially defensively. So, I mean, why take a risk like that? Why not just go get Nick Claxton, go get Robert Williams, somebody who can contribute valuable minutes, even if they're not going to be scoring 10, 15 points.
Because now they're just going to be relying on, like, buyout market.
Buyout market. Jackson Hayes. I mean,
like Daniel Tice is in the buyout. Like guys like that. Is like, he's serviceable, but is he really a championship center?
You don't want Daniel Tice starting. Even if you bring Daniel Tice in, I don't get it, man. You can't start Jackson Hayes. You can't start Daniel Tice. Mo Bamba. You can't start him. If you wanted to start him, he'd still be on the Lakers.
So Luka makes his debut tonight.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so let's see who they play.
Is that on national TV?
I'm going to guess they flex that.
It has to be.
They play the Jazz, and it's on national TV.
Oh, okay. But thank God it's on national TV, because I need to watch that.
Not till 10:30, though.
I kind of like those games, though.
It's in Los Angeles, so they're going to be buzzing for them. You see Kim K was already shooting a shot at Luka.
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, my God.
Not surprised, though.
Welcome to LA, buddy.
Yep.
Stay far away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he would be the one dude to break the curse, though. Yeah.
I was watching, and this is random. I just want to throw this out real quick. I was watching Kings Pelicans the other night, and I had a few takeaways. And I backed this up with research and stats, so it's not just me watching one game and making a take. Where does all the CJ McCollum hate come from? Because he made that tweet about, anybody can get traded now, and people are like, you're not getting traded, buddy. And just over the past few years, there's been a lot of negative discourse around CJ McCollum because he's on a losing team.
Yeah.
This dude has averaged 20-plus points per game every year for 11 years and has never shot below 37% from three.
Yeah. He is one of my favorite betting guys. Like, I'll bet him 15 points all the time. He's consistent.
He's nice. He's nice. He's consistent. I mean, the discourse around him, you'd think he'd completely fallen off. No.
He's never shot below 37% from three.
Never.
In his career.
And he's averaged 20-plus every single season for the past 11 years.
He hasn't shot below 40% in his career from the field. Yeah, like, guys like...
He had 45 in a game less than a month ago.
Yeah.
He's been good.
And he might be a little bit of a liability defensively,
but sure.
Still, when he's playing with, like, Zion and that Pelicans team, they have a lot of wings. Like
Trey Murphy, Herb Jones.
Exactly. So, I mean, he should be able to fit in fine. And I always liked, especially last year, like, I liked this Pelicans team. I always wanted them to do well, and I always felt like they were on the cusp. And now, like, after the start of this season, you're just like, man, I don't know what they're doing with DeJounte and CJ there. I feel like they're a little redundant. They kind of both need the ball in their hands.
And Brandon Ingram.
Yeah.
It's a good thing they trade him, but that pair was always like, I mean, you got a lot of talent, but this isn't a winning team.
Yeah, and they at least they've never been healthy to stay together playing enough. So, I mean, CJ, he's one of the unsung, like, he still does his thing. He's been 33 years old, putting up 22 a game this year.
I don't know why teams didn't try and get him at the deadline, like a team like the Cavs, where they got DeAndre Hunter, but now they're missing that Karis LeVert off the bench.
Yeah.
I don't know who. I know he's expensive. Not everybody can afford CJ McCollum, but why didn't teams like that go get him? Milwaukee.
Yeah.
They're starting Andre Jones, is that his name?
Yeah, I'm even thinking of, like, young teams, like the
Jackson?
Magic need a guy like that, like a veteran.
Dude.
Even though, like, they have KCP there, but, like, that would be another guy to...
Scoring at the one if you need help. Scoring off the bench.
Exactly.
They need offense. Why not go get him when you have, like, a legit team right here?
I'm looking at some other teams. Let's see. Like, what... Right now, would you rather have CJ McCollum or Jamal Murray?
CJ McCollum!
Yeah. Like, it's kind of wild. It's just like he's kind of been stuck on these teams that, like...
And the media hates on him.
Yeah.
Like, most people on NBA Twitter are like...
Well, he's, like, from a small market. He's always played, like, for the Blazers or the Pelicans, and it's just, like, the team's not in the spotlight at all.
Exactly. And even when he was on those Portland playoff teams, guys are like, oh, well, he can't make it work as a two. Yeah, he's not a two on a championship team.
Yeah.
He's not, especially when the one can't play defense either.
Yeah, he's like a very polished Malcolm Brogdon.
Yes,
you know,
a way better Malcolm Brogdon.
Yeah.
Which says something, because Brogdon's a very good player.
Yeah, So I've always liked CJ. I feel bad he's rotting in New Orleans right now.
Yeah,
The
let's push some positive propaganda. And one more takeaway from that game, real quick. Keon Ellis is a baller. Baller. Great defender. 44% career three-point shooter, shooting 43% this season. He went undrafted. He's one of the best shooters in the league. A hell of a defender.
let's see.
I know, like, the Kings probably don't want to give him up. I'm not saying that contenders should have gone for him because I don't know why the Kings would have given him up. But just to shout out Keon Ellis, man. That guy's a beast.
Yeah. I don't know. This Kings team, I've already seen videos of, like, you know, DeRozan going for game-winning shots and Malik Monk freaking out in the corner. And, like, so I don't know how well this is gonna work out. I mean...
They're clearly trying to win.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of the Pelicans, they did come back from, like, a 20-point... down 20 points. So the Pelicans, man, they just keep shooting themselves in the foot.
I thought the game was over. The Kings were up. And then all of a sudden, the Pelicans are in the game. I'm like, wow, this is a game. They couldn't do anything. Zion was playing. Like, come on, buddy, take over a game.
Oh, why is De'Aaron Fox still listed on the Kings on ESPN? Oh.
Is the trade not finalized? But, I mean, even if it is.
I don't know. Oh, he's on the stats just because he's played you know what I mean?
Got you. Okay. But they got Monk, Levine, DeRozan, Murray, Sabonis. Then off the bench, they have Keon Ellis, Jake LaRavia, Trey Lyles, and Jonas Valanciunas. So they have size and they have scoring. They have improved shooting. But the defense and just the overall sailing of the team, it's going nowhere.
Yeah. Like, yeah, you might be a playing team. You make some noise doing that stuff. But, I mean, it's not like
You're not winning a playoff series, very likely.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they could make some noise in a playoff series like the Pelicans did like a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
But where's that going to go? Look where the Pelicans are now.
No.
And I know it's not a similar roster, but you get the point. You got to do something. Like, you have all this value. Why didn't you just flip it and get young?
Yeah. No, you're not wrong.
I don't know. I really don't know.
I want to do a little spotlight on the Minnesota Timberwolves here.
Word.
Right now they're 7 games above 500. You know, they've kind of caught their stride here since the end of January. They've won, I think, 8 of the last 10. 8 of the last 10 games. And they only lost those 2 games by a combined 4 points. So, obviously, something's going on in Minnesota. They're figuring out, finally, how to play with these guys. But if you look at their stretch of games upcoming, I think this is going to make or break them. They got, within the next week, starting tonight, they go to Cleveland, then they play Milwaukee, they play OKC, they play Houston, they play OKC again. So they play OKC 3 times in a span of 2 weeks here. They got LA to close out the month of February. So if you look at this next 6 to 7 game stretch for the Timberwolves, is going to make or break whether they're contenders, I think.
Yep.
I've always kind of had my doubts. They started the year off slow. Randall kind of he needs the ball in his hands a lot to be effective, and it's kind of not.
You don't want the ball in Julius Randle's hands.
Yeah, especially they have a lot of guys who can move the ball well, and that's why they were so good last year. So
I've always been a fan of Julius Randle off the bench, but not in a starting lineup. I think Reed fits way better in the starting lineup. Randle's not shooting the 3 well, 32% this season. But he's banged up right now, so maybe Reed slides into that 4. Maybe they win some games, and then maybe they come back with Randle off the bench.
Yeah.
I know the Knicks didn't want to bench Randle because of his pay grade. I'm sure it's similar in Minnesota right now. But come on, I mean, bring him off the bench. It's a way better fit if you want to play winning basketball. Then you get Dillingham, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and Randle off the bench. Then you got DiVincenzo coming back. He's going to get healthy.
Yeah. And they've had this breakout, Jalen Clark.
Yes.
He's only played 11 games this season, but it's all been within the past 2 weeks. And the guy's been to close out the month of January, they were playing him, garbage time minutes, and end of January hit. I don't know if someone got injured or something, but now he's playing 10 to 20 minutes a night, and he's putting up at least 10 points, good efficiency. This guy's a rookie. I mean,
50% from 3.
Yeah, 53rd pick in the draft, and he's coming in and making an impact year one. I don't know if this first year, maybe he was drafted last year, but still, he's
Yeah, so this is his second year, but he didn't do anything last year, so.
yeah. So this is kind of
And
his.
he didn't play last year, so yeah, this is his first year, even if he was drafted in 23.
So you know what? Maybe he turns into something. He's a little spark for them, and they seem like they're kind of turning around and changing the narrative. So I just over the next 2 weeks, I think keep an eye on them, and that'll be
Exactly. And I mean, DiVincenzo's going to be coming back. Randall's going to be coming back. Hey, I like reading the line in the starting lineup with Randall off the bench. And then you get DiVincenzo back. You got pieces. This is a team that I'm not willing to give up on.
yeah.
I think they're very close with the Mavericks. I think the Mavericks have a higher floor, but I think the Timberwolves have the ceiling to,
Yeah, and
win some games. I think they're better than the Rockets. I think they could be better than the Lakers since they don't have a center now.
yeah, and like you're saying, like it comes down to matchup. Like by the time playoffs come around, depending on who these guys match up with, like let's see who they match up with in playoffs.
They
right
beat
now.
Denver last year.
Right now they match up with Denver, and that's probably still a pretty good matchup with Jokic and Gobert, and you don't have Cat, but still,
You got size. You got Reed and Randall.
yeah,
So, I mean, I think the Wolves are a team to watch out for. I think the Thunder run this conference, but the Nuggets, the Grizzlies, the Wolves, the Mavs, and the Lakers, I mean, those are 5 teams I don't want to give up on.
yeah.
I really think the Wolves could be good. They're 30-23. They were way better last regular season. Do I think they're going to come out of the West? No. Am I willing to count them out? Absolutely not.
No, yeah. It's like with Ant, he can just get going anytime. So I don't know.
And I'd take them over the Rockets in a playoff series.
Take them over the Suns. I'd take them over the Kings. I'd take them over the Clippers. Take them.
A healthy Mavs team would be interesting.
The Rockets. I'd love to see that series.
I'd take the Wolves.
Rockets, Wolves.
I think the Rockets are too young.
Yeah.
I think the Rockets have some moves to make this summer and over the next few years.
Like I could see Wolves in 6, maybe Wolves in 5, but
Absolutely.
the Rockets, like those would be close games, but I feel like it would be too early.
Who would you not pick the Wolves in a series? Would you? I mean, I'm not picking them against OKC.
Lakers.
You wouldn't pick them against the Lakers.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just feel like I don't know.
I love the Lakers' offense, but their lack of a center and their lack of defense worries me. But I think they could have very well the best offense in the league.
Yeah, and I feel like, I don't know, Gobert's not scoring. He's not putting up hella points. I feel like that's not going to kill them against the Timberwolves, where, like, they were going up against Sengun or Jokic. Like, that's a whole another story. More scorers, so. That Western Conference is insane.
Absolutely.
Much different than the East, so.
Has your mind changed on the East at all, or is it still Cav? For me, it's Cavs, Celtics, Knicks are contenders, and then the Pacers and the Bucks and the 76ers always have a fighting chance. And then the Pistons, Heat, and Magic are going to be fun.
Yeah.
But I think it's Celtics and Cavs, and even the Knicks are kind of on that line. I mean, I love their offense. I don't love their defense. And, I mean, Jalen Brunson and Cat.
Yeah. Like, I don't know.
Nah, probably not. So,
like, did you watch that Celtics game the other night with the Knicks?
Jason Tatum, man.
Dude, that was insane.
Jason Tatum, 40 points. I mean, that's Jason Tatum at his best. And
I haven't been excited for a regular season matchup like that in a while this year, especially because, like, I feel like we've seen a lot of these matchups before. Like, yeah, Bucks, Celtics, but they played every year for the past 6 years.
Like, it happens. We see this multiple times.
Yeah, but this was the first look at not the first look, but, the Knicks, they're playing at home against the Celtics. It's like Saturday night.
They have a lot to play for in front of a lot of people.
Yeah, like, people are talking about them legit. You come in, the Celtics, Porzingis and Holiday aren't playing, which is like, I feel like it's not even comparable. Like, yeah, you're missing Anunoby for the Knicks, but like, it's not really comparable.
That's hilarious.
Like, my biggest surprise was like, Celtics came out, they got out early lead, and they kind of held it. They got a little shaky at one point, but they put it right back up to 20. Like, I was so disappointed in Karl-Anthony Towns. Like, I don't know, I'm going to pull up his stat line for the game here. But I was sitting there, he's getting saying he's getting worked by Luke Cornett and Neemias Queta, and they're giving him the work right now.
Yeah.
And let's see what Cat did on the night. Yeah, Cat. Here we go. He had 9 rebounds, 9 points, minus 26 on the night. Like 4 fouls, 2 turnovers. He only took 8 shots. I mean, so there were clear times even like the Celtics. They weren't really like the Celtics. They were switching up their lineups. They were going double bigs with Queta, Horford, Cornett and Horford. Then all of a sudden they'd switch it up and they go Tatum at the center and Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, that's like when you're like, all right, like you're putting Tatum on me. You should be able to go to
dominate.
Work. Yeah. Like if you're one of the best centers, big men in the league, that's light work.
Right.
He was getting boxed out like by Peyton Pritchard. Like it was just not. If you're a Knicks fan, it's not what you want to see.
No, they're supposed to be that team with that dog in them, and they add Cat.
Yeah, and Brunson was cooking. Like he was their only thing going for him.
But I mean, you need a better 2 next to him. I mean, come on, you're looking for that next scorer because you don't want to rely on a small guard. Yeah. And you bring in Karl Anthony Towns. Come on, that's the opposite of what the Knicks are supposed to be and what they need. And I know people love it. I know it's good. It's a good offense. But come on, no. I mean, this is why I liked the trade for the Wolves initially because I was like, oh, you kind of get rid of Cat.
Yeah,
I know he's a great
Cat
shooter.
Can give you those stinkers, like sometimes, like give you those 0 nights where.
I'd rather have Naz Reid, and that's why I'm like, bring Randall off the bench. He's not the guy to replace him with. But that's a whole nother thing.
I mean, on the year, Cat's averaging 24 points, 13.5 rebounds, which he ranks second in rebounds, top 20 in points. So, and 53% field goal percentage. So the guy's efficient. It's not like he's like taking every shot inside the paint too. He's making jump shots. So I was really shocked because I've been hearing how well he's played, and I haven't watched a lot of Knicks games. So when I watched that game, I was like, whoa, like this is not the guy that everybody's talking about.
No.
And Porzingis wasn't playing, which is the scariest thing because it's like they're missing their 7'3"
sniper,
Spider-Man looking like
he's a unicorn, dude. He protects the rim. He scores off the dribble. He shoots from 40 feet.
Yeah. And all I can think about is when he's down there and Drew's out there, like, yeah, it's going to look even worse for the Knicks. And you're just like...
And maybe OG Anunoby even makes you worse sometimes, so...
Yeah. Statement win by the Celtics going into MSG and just beating them the way they did. I thought it was... people have been really down on the Celtics, how inconsistent they're playing, but that was one of the first nights this year where I've seen... Brown played one of the best games he's played all season. Tatum played one of the best games he played.
Pritchard.
They got everything from Pritchard off the bench. I mean, Horford, even with Porzingis out, Horford played, let's see, like, you got, bear with me.
Yeah.
32 minutes for Al Horford here. Like, old man, like.
Luke Cornett played 29 minutes.
Yeah.
Queta played 26.
But Tatum was just on fire, man. That jump shot, I haven't seen him hitting shots like that ever.
And I, not to take it too off track, but I mean, I'm the biggest Tatum hater because I'm the biggest Tatum fan. He's capable of doing this in the playoffs. Yeah. Take over, hit your shots in the playoffs. I don't want to see 6 for 16, 6 for 21 in the finals.
He came out right away. Like you knew he had it the second that game started because I don't know if you were watching right after tip, but that first possession of the game, he comes down and just yams on Mikal Bridges, I think. And it was like, just set the tone for the night. He was like, this is his game. We're playing Tatum's way, Tatum's pace, and he did it.
And to all the Celtics fans who hate on me for, giving him his crap, this is what he's capable of in a finals series, in a playoff series. Let's see it. And I don't want to hate on him because this is what I want to see in the playoffs. But this is what he's capable of. This guy can be a top 10 player of all time if he locks in. He's 26, 27. Yeah. He can be a top 10 player of all time. But he's, if he keeps showing up in the playoffs like he does, it's not going to go down like that. He's going to go down as a Hall of Famer. But do you want your guy to be a top 10 player of all time? I do. I think he's well capable of it. That's my thing with Tatum. Let's see more of this, what he just did to the Knicks when it matters.
When he's going like that, nobody's stopping him. I mean, that's...
I
haven't seen... Like, we've been watching Tatum for almost 10
years.
8 years,
almost.
10 years now, and we haven't seen... Like, that... That's the performance we want to see every night, and I know it's insane to expect that because he's shooting 50% from 3, 40 points. You know what I mean?
But I mean, look at the skill set. Look at the skill set. Look at the physical set. Like, the dude's capable of it. Yeah. He can average 32.
He was
7 and 7,
locked in on both ends defensively. Like, sometimes you watch him, he's a little defensively like, I don't know, like when it counts to lock in. But
exactly.
Like, they were up 15, he's still locked in, like switching to help Karl-Anthony Towns. So
huge shout out to Tatum.
Yeah.
I do want to ask you a question about college basketball.
Yeah.
SEC, I think it's fair to say, is the best conference in the country right now. Who's the second best?
It's close. If you're asking my opinion or who I think, or are you asking who is, or like who do I think?
Who's the best? Like.
Okay, like the SEC is the best by far.
SEC is clear.
Yeah.
What's the second conference? Because I would
have to say, because I always go back and forth on this, like Big 12 or Big 10. I mean, Big 12 definitely has more like top teams, but I think the Big 10 is so deep. They go like 15 teams deep, and 10 of those teams can beat any of those teams any given night.
Okay.
Here, let me see. I'd say right now the Big 12, though. I think you got Texas Tech, Iowa State. Texas Tech has been coming on. They're 18-5. They just beat Houston in Houston, huge rivalry game. So that conference is like, they got 5 ranked teams at the moment. Baylor is the not ranked team that could be ranked too. So I'd say like, yeah, Big 12 definitely second, then Big 10 not too far behind it. And then after that, you're going Big East. And then, like, I would honestly argue 8-10 over ACC right now. Even though, like, Clemson and Duke and Louisville are the best, they'll have 3 tournament teams at least. Like, I think that's all they should have. Like, the ACC is glorified mid-major conference.
Duke dropped
right now.
One the other night.
Yeah, you see that?
Yeah.
Did you? That was crazy that, because I was sitting there with my roommates and I was like, all right, like, Cooper Flag, this is what we're gonna see what he is made of right here. And he hit a few. I'm not taking anything away from Cooper Flag because that was so embarrassing, that last moment. But before that, he probably hit 3 big shots to keep them in that game and even give them a chance. And like, you'll see like, oh, people were commenting like, ESPN made sure you knew he was cramping, which like if you were watching the game, he couldn't walk.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't even believe, like, you get this feeling sometimes when playing pickup basketball because we're out of shape and we're like, have you ever been so tired in the game you go to jump and then you just like, you have nothing, it gives and you can't even jump off your feet. Like that's what he was
doing.
And so like when he fell at the end of the game, I wasn't shocked. I was like, damn, I didn't think it would be like that. But the amount of hate and people saying like, oh, like Duke's overrated. They've lost one. That was their first conference game they lost all season. Like, they're 12-1. The only other 2 losses. I mean, they lost to a top 25 team. Let's like keep it in perspective here.
But hey, that's sports Twitter for you. They're gonna do that. Like,
yeah, especially when Duke loses. Like they're gonna let them know. And
similar to Jason Tatum, I mean, somebody posted Jahan Dotson's stat line last night or Quinyon Mitchell's stat line last night, and at the end it said Tatum sucks. It's that kind of thing. Like, they're always going to find a way to hate on who they want to hate on.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Cooper Flag, I mean, let's be honest, dude. He just turned 18. He should be a senior in high school this year.
Come on.
Like, it's like, and he's doing this against, like, dominating. So.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah.
2 things I want to talk about before we're running out of time, but I want to get this in. To anyone who is hating on A.J. Brown for reading a book on excellence on the bench, guess what? He's a top 5 receiver in a league loaded with receiver talent, and he just won a Super Bowl and scored a touchdown in it. Hate on that.
Yeah.
I'm a big AJ Brown fan. I had to say it. And then 2 things I wanted to talk about the NBA before we get out. The DeAndre Hunter trade, I love it for the Cavs. I think
we didn't talk about that.
That's exactly what they needed, is a 3-and-D wing who can score by himself.
He's a better Karis LeVert. That's pretty much what they swapped him in for.
The Cavs just got better.
Yeah.
We got to watch out. Not too worried about the Knicks or anybody else in the East, but the Cavs, yes. The Jimmy Butler trade, I know you're not huge on it. I love it for the Warriors.
Really?
I think that's exactly what they needed. They're a deep defensive team who have shooting next to Curry and Butler. What Curry needed was a second scorer to take bodies off of him, take pressure off of him. I love it. I give him a B+, A- if they can win some playoff series.
Okay. Yeah. No, I don't know if I'm not seeing it with the Jimmy Butler. I've never been a huge Jimmy Buckets guy. I just like
him and Draymond on the same court with Steph Curry. They're already a top 10 defense. And what was the 2022 Warriors? What were they made out of? They were a deep team who played defense and let Steph Curry do his thing. Now they have a second scorer to let Curry do his thing.
Yeah.
And I'm a Butler fan. I think he's a little bit crazy, but the mentality he brings to a basketball team that really wants to win, it can elevate a team. And I think this Warriors team is a contender. I know it sounds crazy to some people. Jimmy and Steph with a top 10 defense already. It's going to be top 5 now.
In my mind, I can just already picture Draymond and Jimmy Butler just like after losing, like going out through in a series, those two just like in each other's face, headbutting, like going at it. You know,
I wouldn't be surprised, but I like the move. I like it. I'm willing to bet to die on it. The Bucks also got Kuzma. Do you have any opinions on that? Like,
shout out Chris Middleton, man. GOAT for the city of Milwaukee. I went to school in Milwaukee for 2 years. I had the chance to see him play. When he was playing in that finals, he was playing some of the best basketball I've ever seen. Like, guy was a mid-range specialist, Celtics killer. No matter when the Celtics played him, he gave us a hard time, even when he was on his decline. He's even still not terrible now. I just feel like it's been so stagnant there. Like, they've had the same result for 3 years in a row. They've changed coaches. They've changed other pieces. It's about time.
It was time for a move.
Yeah, but shout out. That city appreciates everything I did. They love him. He was drafted there. Not often you see a guy stick with his team 10 to 15 years like that.
Exactly.
So it's, I don't know, and win a championship.
He won that championship.
Yeah,
like
that's
Giannis,
a homegrown. Him and Giannis were drafted there together. That's what the NBA should be. Not none of these free agent. Like, that's how you build a team.
I completely agree. And hey, that's kind of what the Celtics have done. So
yeah,
you need some moves. But
and it's sad it's got to end like that. And for Kuzma, like, I don't know, but
he's not been very good. But I think it's an upgrade.
Yeah, for the Bucks, you got
to do something.
You have to change something.
Exactly. So yeah, I think that about does it. Anything else you want to slip in?
Nah. Should be back here next week. More college basketball, definitely.
100%.
We'll be like 3 weeks out, March Madness at that point, so we can start with some conference tournament stuff.
Getting exciting.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
All right.
Bet. Thanks everybody for listening. Peace.
We'll see you.